Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. We need to talk about the scream. The scream. But first, 4 college students brutally stabbed Moscow, Idaho, inside a home during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Coroner said the stabbings occurred between 3 and 4 a.m. Police haven't arrested anyone yet. They haven't publicly named any suspects, and they haven't found the murder weapon. It is a mystery. The internet is wild trying to figure out what happened, what's going on. Some of the victims' families are demanding answers. The community's on edge. Who did it? Let's talk about the scream, right? So there is a news report, there's a few news reports out that a neighbor of this home where the stabbings occurred, a neighbor is claiming, now coming out claiming, that he heard a scream that night. The individual that's saying it is neighbor Enan Harsh. Enan Harsh. And he's coming out, and his picture's in the thumbnail of this video, by the way. He's coming out now, almost a month later, claiming he heard a scream that night. He said he was at work, some sort of cook. He said he arrived home at 1:30 a.m., and then he hears a scream from wherever he's at. I don't know where he lives. I'm assuming he might live in that Queen Avenue apartment complex next door, or maybe he's one of the houses next door, but he's claiming now that he heard a scream. These news reports have just came out about this neighbor. But this same neighbor, Enan Harsh, made a Facebook post on November 15th, 2 days after the stabbing, on his own Facebook profile. Check it out. He's claiming he didn't hear any screams. So who's telling the truth here? Because now this is spreading like wildfire, and we need to figure out if this is true or not. Or is this someone just coming out now claiming that he heard screams? Because it's reported in these articles that he didn't tell police at the time, originally, that he heard a scream. But now he heard a scream. What does that mean? Well, let's just say if it's true. If it's true he heard a scream, that is big. That is big to me, because if he did hear a scream out of the house, then you would assume the 2 roommates living in the house, Dylan and Bethany, they would hear that scream too. Unless they were drinking. Unless they were passed out. And that's another question I have. Where was Dylan and Bethany before? Did they go out that night? Did they go out on the night of the 12th into the 13th? Or did they stay home? And if they went out, what were they doing? Who were they with, and what were they doing? And when did they arrive back at the house? And then when they arrived back at the house, I want to know if they were drinking or not that night. Say they were drinking, and the neighbor, this Enan Harsh guy that claims he heard a scream, heard an actual scream from the house. Now, he did say that the house is a party house, and they're more or less saying that the scream could have been from another house. But say it came from that house, and Enan heard a scream. If Bethany and Dylan were downstairs, if they were drunk, hypothetically, and this guy heard a scream from far of a distance, do you think Bethany and Dylan should have heard that scream too? If they were intoxicated, or even if they were asleep, not intoxicated. Do you think they would have heard this same scream? I've made videos about this house, right? 3-story house. It seems like I didn't see any carpeting in the house. They might have carpeting. I didn't see any carpeting. I've seen hardwood floors, and I've seen echoing walls. And when I see the videos of these victims inside the house that they shared on their own social media profiles, I hear echoing, like you hear echoing here. So is Enan Harsh telling this truth, or is he just trying to get his 15 minutes of fame? I did a background on Enan Harsh. He's not the most credible person. He's not the most credible person. Let me just put it that way. He has a criminal history, fugitive of justice, numerous drug charges. Is he just saying this? Or is it true? Because if it's true, I think it's a big deal. It's a big deal because then it puts it back onto the surviving roommates to me. They didn't hear a scream, but a neighbor hears the scream? Sounds fishy to me, if that's the case. But I'm not sure if this neighbor actually heard the scream. He's coming out now with the information. It's blowing up in all the chat rooms. There's Facebook groups about this tragedy. If you just go into the Facebook search and you put Moscow, Idaho, there's many Facebook groups, and they're sharing about the scream. They're sharing about the scream. Did he really hear the scream or not? Or is he just saying that now, or does he just want to make a name for himself? He gave the media outlet an interview and said he heard it. I sent him a message on Facebook about that scream. So he hasn't responded yet at the time of this video. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe my message is in his spam box and he never sees it. Maybe one of you guys can let him know that I sent him a message and I'm interested in knowing more about this scream. Because I want to know if it was true. Because a lot of people say the 4 victims, right? A lot of people are like, how could the roommates not hear what's going on? And people say, well, whoever did this could have did it real quickly. Bam, 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 bam. 4, 4, 4. Bam, bam, bam. Like the thief of the night. Unnoticed. No sound. Quickly. Or was there struggles? Because we're hearing rumors about struggles. And if you heard struggles, why wouldn't the people downstairs, Dylan and Bethany, not hear it? You get what I'm saying? Studying this case relentlessly. And I care just like you all care. Facts matter. Facts matter. Did whoever put these articles out on Mr. Enan Harsh fact check him? Or they just take it for what he says and that's it. And to sensationalize this case. Dun, dun, dun. Neighbor heard a scream. Just like they reported yesterday that another neighbor, might even be the same neighbor, because they didn't report what neighbor. But the news reported yesterday for the first time that a neighbor saw the front door open of the house 8:30 to 9 a.m. Remember, the 911 call was at 11:55 a.m. It's a big deal if that door was open. The downstairs door of that house was open because, Dylan and Bethany stayed down there. Now, there's maps of the inside of the home. You could go through that front door, and I think there's separate rooms, and then it goes upstairs to the 2nd floor, and then it goes another upstairs to the 3rd floor. I mean, people are saying, did the killer go through the second, like Kaylee's father, Mr. Steve? He says that he was told the killer went in through the 2nd sliding glass door or the window. But if that door was open downstairs, just hypothetically, Bethany and Dylan were asleep, did the killer do the job and then go downstairs and maybe would have done Bethany and Dylan, but didn't, and just went out the front door and left the door open? Did Bethany and Dylan tell authorities during interrogation? Because we know the authorities most certainly interrogated Bethany and Dylan because they had to, because they said, we don't feel at this time they're involved. So they had to question them. They had to vet them, right? They had to. So did the killer go out the front door if their door was open? But is this another neighbor just saying things? A lot of times in these crimes, I notice after the fact, people come out and start saying things, but it could be true. This all could be true. There could have been a scream. The door could have been open. And if these two facts are correct, that kind of, puts things into perspective in this case. That's what I have to say. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, covering this case, and I'm covering every development of this case. And I hope you people are too. And I hope the families, the victims' families, God bless all of you. Victims' families, the victims' families' friends, stay strong. Stay strong. You got to navigate through sometimes nonsense and conjecture and people spreading false rumors. I understand your pain, and I understand you want to get answers. Vet everything. Vet everything. And don't give up hope, because whoever did this is going to get caught. They're going to get caught. You can't run forever, and they will be held accountable. And I'll be covering their court proceedings, just like a lot of you all will. We'll shine the light. We'll bring awareness. We won't stop. We won't stop. God bless you. God bless Moscow. Talk to you soon. Subscribe to my channel. Got more videos coming out.